And if I were an Arsenal fan, I would be so upset too. Molly, you've said this in the past. There are some teams that show up not to lose, and there are some teams that show up to win. Arsenal showed up to not lose yesterday. And they didn't lose. They drew, but that honestly is a loss to them.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Liverpool Girlies Podcast, a place where we welcome anyone who loves to obsess over Liverpool FC. My name is Molly Ann, and I'm here with Annika and Stephanie. We are three friends who share a love of Liverpool and dream of one day having a cup of coffee at the AXA Training Center coffee bar. All right, y'all, big midweek match. Before we get into it, how's everyone feeling today?
I was expecting to not feel great today at all, but I feel surprisingly positive. And there's a lot more positives that came out of the Arsenal match than I anticipated. So overall, very positive. I'm excited for next week's matches too.
I agree. I woke up to Virgil van Dijk posting with British Vogue. So what do I have to be upset about? You know?
Guys, those jeans were incredible. I cannot get over how phenomenal his fashion is. Peak. Zero, just no notes at all.
His dream Sunday is my dream Sunday, which is just being at home and watching a movie. So I feel very aligned with Virgil today.
So if you've listened to one of our episodes before, you may have heard a segment we do called I'm Sorry, where we like positively rant about something. And when I saw the pictures of Virgil drop, that was an I'm sorry moment that I sent to Annika and Stephanie with like the I'm sorry, like big text. So if you needed
and no other words,
just I'm sorry.
There were no other words, just the post and specifically his picture.
So if you ever needed a real life example of how this was one.
No, the number of things that we could have done I'm sorry about this week feels astronomical to me.
So true.
There was so much content. They fed us so well this week. I'm so grateful.
Yeah, it was, to me, this week was like one of the, like yesterday. Well, really, I think Sobo's interview, which I know we're going to talk about, but like kind of starting with that, it was like one of those weeks where I was like, I always loved Liverpool, but it just felt like it's like in Mario Kart when you get like a super, like, you know, a like plus up, whatever they're called. Like, I just felt like I was like supercharged on Liverpool this week, and that was so fun.
I feel like the whole team and the social media team, period, they've been very reserved about how they've been showing up online because things haven't been going as well, and fans just, it's not a very pleasant place to be posting like positive connotation things on the internet when things are just not going so very well. So I feel like they've been very reserved, which I totally respect and understand. And so now it's just been like little bits of like, hi, look, we have like 10 games where we haven't lost. Here's just a little bit. Look, we're happy. So I'm very grateful for what they have given us.
Yeah, the content team is back from their winter vacation and with a vengeance, it seems, because we were getting a ton. And even outside of the content team, we had Hugo's atomic bomb post, which really the meme of my week was, is this what he meant by that post? Is this what he meant?
So many things to speculate around, but I went back today to review the post because I wanted to know the exact date he posted it. I do think the biggest, I don't know, breaking news, shocking, is that the post is no longer there. So,
okay, well, hold on. If someone has not seen his atomic bomb post, Hugo Ekitike is iconic because he does have a Finsta and he just dumps a whole bunch of random stuff on his Instagram, on his Finsta specifically. He posted this picture of an atomic bomb, and sitting in front of this atomic bomb is someone on like a beach chair sitting with the atomic bomb going off in front of them. And our friend Taylor texted us this screenshot and said, what does this mean? What is going on? I'm thinking like Hugo is like really disappointed with the team and what's been going on. Like literally what is happening? What I've been so concerned all week, but yes, absolutely. Annika, is this what he was talking about? Is this what he was talking about?
I think the thing that was the most jarring to me, because I actually saw it right before I went to bed Monday night, I think, or somewhere around there. And I saw it. I was like, Hugo, what is this? And mostly I was like, there's no caption and there's no song, which was what felt the most out of place to me more than anything else.
But as of today, I don't know when he took it down, but it's not there anymore. So
what does it mean? What does it mean? I honestly, when he was not on the roster for the Arsenal match, I was like, okay, maybe he had just found out that he wasn't going to be able to play at the game. Maybe that's what it is. And now that it's taken off, does that mean he's coming back on Monday? Like, what's going on?
It's his own internal communication to us. Although Arne, in his pre-Arsenal match interview, said that Hugo was training and that he might be able to play. So he definitely didn't know for sure on Monday that he wasn't playing. So I think we can rule that out.
That's true.
But what does it mean?
I don't know. I mean, maybe all he's trying to say is like, I've become a big Swiftie and I'm leaving Easter eggs, so watch out.
I am here for his Easter egg era. Definitely.
We just get to speculate what's going on. And that is really good PR for him. So even if he's not in the match, we're still talking about him.
It's true.
He needed to give us content. That was his motivation.
And he
He was like, the Liverpool girlies really need some content. Let's give them something to talk about. Thanks, Hugo. That was very kind and thoughtful of you.
Okay, this is the other thing that I thought was interesting that he posted. I don't know if you saw his story during the Arsenal match yesterday, but he posted he was watching the game. I don't know if y'all noticed. There's somebody in the lower right-hand corner with like a professional camera, like video, like it looks like they're filming something. But I was like, what is happening?
Our other beloved player who was dropping content and bars for us this week was our dear Dominic Szoboszlai. He did his Sky Sports interview and it rocked the soccer world for a second there, didn't it?
It was incredible.
Yes.
Going into the Arsenal match, I, was like a little more nervous. Kind of didn't think I really kind of thought like this was a game we probably should plan on losing until I watched that interview with Sobo and just like what he said, the way he said it and his like conviction and presence in that interview. I was convinced we were going to win afterwards. I was like, Arsenal who? Like we are walking out of this game winning. We drew. I think we won out of the battle of the draws of the two teams. I think we quote unquote won.
Mm-hmm.
But it was such a good interview.
That man will be our captain in the next 2 years.
Yes.
Hands down.
Okay. This is my campaign that I'm now going for because we also had a Curtis Jones interview this week. We didn't see Curtis play this week, which of course always miss him. But in his interview, he was talking about a couple different things. It was very sweet. Highly recommend the watch. He was doing rapid fire questions. But I am campaigning for a Dominic Szoboszlai captain, Curtis Jones co-captain. This is the future I would like to see. I feel like it could be that good combination of like the person who's on the field getting it done. Like Dom is out there. He's playing all 90 minutes every game. And then Curtis is the one who is homegrown, has the touch points with the team, is in the locker room, has really developed the depth of friendships and connections with people, is welcoming. I don't know. I could see it. This is my new dream for the future.
I love it.
I just think it would have been really nice to have Curtis on that pitch yesterday after everything that happened at the end of the match. We'll talk about it later, but I missed him. Seriously, after the Everton match from last season, when Curtis got that red card, it forever changed my opinion of him. He will go to bat for people, and I love him for it.
Before we move on from Szoboszlai's interview, my other favorite moment about it is his post-match interview yesterday where he did clarify that he felt it was a little awkward because he didn't mean it to offend.
I don't understand how people could take it offensively. Like, why would you take that personally? We literally won the Premier League. We're the champions. There's gold on the sleeve. Like, it's just fact.
John was just like, they haven't won yet. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And his exact quote was, I said what I said, but I meant it in a way that nobody is offended. And I'm going to take that with me into my personal life because I think this could be a good mantra.
Yes. Dominic Szoboszlai dropping bars. Also, even though we didn't see our baby boo Hugo, he did win the Standard Charter Player of the Month for December. Way to go, Hughes. I think that was his first one.
And I really feel like he earned this because obviously I've been a fan of Ekitike the entire duration of him being on our team. But the last 2 games of not having him be available to us makes me realize how much I've come to really rely and depend on him. It feels obvious to me that he's a central part of our team at this point. So
You could really tell that we were missing him during the Arsenal match.
Mhm.
It was a big
Definitely.
hole.
Are you ready to get into the Arsenal match?
Let's do it.
Okay.
I think so. Let's talk about it.
I mean, if we start at the beginning, we saw the lineup and we saw Ekitike was not available. And we again we're starting with Gakpo as our sole striker. So that I was feeling pretty good again after the Dom interview. I was like, okay, I think we have some fight in us. We can do this. And then when I saw that lineup, the pit in my stomach settled.
I literally had planned to go into this match to just disassociate. And I was like, I'm going to show up because I support them and I want to cheer them on. And I'm not going anywhere, but I just feel like this is going to be one that I'm just going to have to stomach and move on and just whatever. But like you said, not seeing Hugo on there, I was like, okay, there's confirmation. Like, I will show up and watch, but it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, no, like I said, once I saw Dogs, I felt great. I was like, I really, really convinced you're going to win that game. I don't know. I think that's probably also my normal entrance into any game. So maybe that's not any different, but I had like 48 hours where I did think we were going to lose. So Dom swayed me otherwise.
Okay.
The other thing that I had decided pre-match that I didn't know the players were also going to wear was the new pink kits. And I have the new pink jacket that dropped. And so I was like, I'm going to break it out for this match. And we didn't lose in it. So I feel like it's added to the rotation.
I haven't seen what they wore for warm-ups. I haven't
Yeah,
seen anything.
it's like a new like turquoise. It has like pink stripes in it.
It's very anyone who, this is a very niche reference, but it's very the SeaTac airport carpet from the early 2000s. Positive connotation in the best way possible. It's really fun. It kind of also looks like a sweater someone would have worn in the 90s, but like athletic wear. It's really cool.
Yeah. I've just been waiting for us to have pink clothing of some sort. And I'm so thankful that, I mean, I want a full pink kit, but I'm thankful that we're getting something. So I think that also.
Your jacket is incredible.
Don't you worry. I have it right here so I could show everybody.
Okay,
please
show and
do.
tell.
I was like, I got to do a little
Let's
show and tell because the jacket worked. Okay. But here it is. I love it.
That is beautiful.
Turquoise on the sleeve, side detail. I love it so much. I wear some glitter because just like normalize wearing glitter in everyday life and normalize wearing hot pink jackets. And I really hope we get more pink in our Liverpool wardrobe. So I was very excited.
Such a good pink.
When we go to the match against Chelsea in May, we will be wearing face glitter.
Oh,
no
I love
ifs, ands, or
that.
buts. Yes.
Do we wear face glitter to a gala?
Crossing our fingers. It's gonna happen. Anyone from Liverpool out there? We're signing up for the gala. We want to go. Please let us go.
Yeah, I was pleased you got that in time to wear it alongside the boys in theme. But then the match began. And honestly, from even within the first 10 minutes, I was very prepared. I was like, I'm going to watch it like kind of casually, like it's the middle of the workday. We had some friends over, I was eating some lunch, and I could not contain myself. Stephanie can attest. I was, within the first 15 minutes, I had jumped off the couch several times yelling at the TV. So it unfortunately did grab me from the very beginning. Unfortunately or fortunately, I guess it depends. But yeah, I don't know. I immediately felt
in the match that they instilled some hope. And
yes.
I was not expecting that. Like, they looked really solid. I was just expecting for us to have a lot of holes and to make a lot of mistakes, especially on the defensive side. A lot of the similar things that we've been seeing over the last few months. But they were really strong. And yes, they parked the bus, but it's something very similar to how they played against City during our away game at City last season when we beat them 2-0, where we played mostly defensively. We let them have possession, and then we expounded on their mistakes and were able, at least in the City game, to be able to score on some counterattacks. That didn't happen this time, but we were defensively so strong in the first half, and I was very pleasantly surprised.
I thought also they established the energy and the intensity of the match really early on. I think would be easy in looking back on it to kind of focus on the intensity of the end of the game because it did end on such a dramatic note. But it was very early on that Virgil and Declan were getting a little physical. Kirkes and Saka were getting a little physical to just really establish that they were competitors and they were there to like, get it done. And I felt that energy from them. Also, Florian was able to draw a foul early on. So all of that intensity was really there, and it was so fun to watch and see them try to take advantage of those mistakes, those counterattacks like you were talking about. Yeah, I also was like pleasantly surprised in the first half.
Yeah, I also wondered in the first half if like there was some level that Arsenal kind of underestimated. Like I think maybe they thought they could come in, and because we've, had like a really tough spell, have drawn so many matches recently, I just wonder if there was some of the like, this probably won't be as hard as it could be against Liverpool. And if, when we came in not being intimidated to play the top seat in the Premier League right now. And so I just wonder how much like that mentality, if that was present. I'm not one of those players, so I don't know. But that was just kind of like my assessment, watching it, is there's just like that difference in mentality that really level set both teams, or it kind of shifted maybe Arsenal down a notch and shifted us up a notch.
Yeah, I mean, we are also guilty of that. Liverpool plays to the level of the team that we play. So I kind of, in the back, I was not going in very confident at all, but in the back of my mind, it was like, okay, well, it's an Arsenal match. So we showed up really well for the Real Madrid match. We showed up well for the Inter Milan match. When we know that we're playing really difficult teams, they lock in. They really lock in. But then we play a Leeds, or we play a Fulham, or we play a West Ham, and we just drop the ball and we draw, and it doesn't go as well as we would have thought, as well as really what we're capable of doing. So yeah, I think you're right. I hadn't really thought about that, of Arsenal going in a little bit more confident than they should have. That's also pretty consistent with how Arsenal shows up.
I mean, I get it at some level. If we were playing a team that had a run of form like we've had at home, we've been on such a hot streak, I could imagine feeling pretty like, okay, we're going to get this done. So for me, really seeing that we were going into halftime with a clean sheet, I was like, woo, this is great.
Do you remember when earlier in the season we would get to minute like 20 and we'd be like, okay, great. We haven't conceded in the first 20 minutes. This is great. We are making progress. This is good. And I honestly expected the second half to be like the first, where we were parking the bus and playing a lot more defensively. No, we took such great possession of the ball. Where did that come from? My goodness. I was really impressed.
Frimpong said in his wrap-up post that it was a game of two halves, and I really felt that. It felt like, even though it was a 0-0 game, it felt like two totally different matches in terms of the energy.
Yeah, I loved seeing that, because I think last season that was one of Slot's greatest strengths, was his ability, whether it was through subs or through tactics or energy on the pitch, to go into halftime and change and come out and show up differently. And so I loved getting to see, the team be able to take that and produce something different on the pitch, and, Slot kind of get that, hopefully that shift back where we see the halftime is really positive and changing when we need it to be, to come back out in such a great way.
And I also want to give props to Alisson in the first half. Yes. He was incredible. Yes. Arsenal did have 4 shots on goal. They weren't the most impressive shots on goal, but he definitely was a major playmaker. And he kept it a clean sheet, and I'm very, very grateful for that. There are only 2 matches in the entire season so far that Arsenal have left with no goals, and both of those matches have been against us. So yes, technically, the stats say that Liverpool did not get a shot on goal. I think that stat is silly, because Bradley definitely did hit the crossbar in the first half. That was beautiful. That would have been a phenomenal goal. But I think that we did better than that stat says, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I think also, again, the players and Arne talking after the match of basically the idea that's like, we're really proud of what we did. we wish we could have taken a little bit more. I think that was actually what surprised me the most. I think if you told me going in that we had drawn 0-0, I would have been like, great. And so the fact that, yes, I do feel like we were, quote unquote, the winners of the draw, but I feel like we actually could have won that game. The fact that I even feel like that is shocking to me. But also that's what tells me it's like, okay, I don't know if the stats really always reflect the reality of what was going on.
No, I totally felt the same way. I walked out of that being like, we played so well and we should have won. But going into the match, if you had said, I'll guarantee you a point, then I'm taking it. So I love getting to walk out like that. Also, last year, I went back and looked at, because I couldn't remember our Arsenal matches last year. Both were draws, 2-2 draws.
2-2 draws in both times.
Yeah. So I just thought it was like, it's interesting. And any team in the Premier League can beat you. You can draw with, because that is the nature and the competition of the Premier League. But I do think it shows how competitive Liverpool and Arsenal are. And for teams that are consistently at the top of the league, like very well matched year over year, if you're consistently drawing or like one person's winning by a goal, like the talent is there. So I thought that was cool to see, the year that we won, we drew them. We'll see what happens at the end of this season, but it's it hangs in that same balance.
It's always interesting getting kind of the temperature of the fan base online post matches. A lot of what I've seen from the Liverpool fans is, wow, that was a lot stronger. We're seeing improvements every week. Flo looked really good. Kirk has looked really great. There's a lot of positive energy around it and a little bit of criticism, of course. But anything that I've seen from Arsenal fans was talking about how poorly they played. And I'm like, yeah, y'all did. You really were not, you didn't show up in the way that you have been. And Molly, I think you've just hit it right on the nose of, they were expecting a poor performance from Liverpool. So that is how they prepared. And were kind of taken by surprise, the fact that we locked them down so hard. Okay, so we have to talk about Shirtgate with Flo, because that was hilarious. I personally didn't think it was a foul, that whole situation. That's neither here nor there. But the fact that the Arsenal player was trying to lift him off the ground and Flo just went dead weight, and I love this man so much. Every single week I see him on our pitch and I see him just like integrating more into the team. I'm just like, yes, please. His spunky personality is going to pop up even more, and I literally cannot wait.
Okay, hear me out, but is he kind of giving McAllister energy in Mac's first season? Like, less of the whining nature, but like Mac was always so good at disrupting the flow of things. And I feel like Florian's like this kind of silent killer where like he's not, like when the stuff was happening at the end of the game, he was kind of just like walking by, observing like what's going on here. But then he's able to draw these fouls and like go dead weight in someone's arms, and his shirt's getting ripped off, and you're like, oh, you're really good at making this look bad, aren't you?
Yes. But also, I'm just like, why are you touching our players? Like, why is everyone, we'll talk about Bradley, but like, why are we trying to get everybody up off the ground? Like, so many of Slot's post-match interviews, he has to keep reiterating, like, we are not a team. I'm not saying we've never wasted time. I'm not saying somebody hasn't exaggerated anything, okay? But like, in general, we're not a team that's throwing ourselves on the ground to cause issues. I mean, Hugo did it in the last game he played in. Like, he stayed up, and if he chose to fall over, like, could have tried to draw attention to the penalty. He doesn't do that. And so it's like, Gabrielle, you don't need to be trying to pick up Flo. Like, leave the girl alone. Stop trying to touch our players.
You know who is a team that throws themselves on the ground to waste time? Arsenal.
Oh,
Sorry.
literally?
Sorry.
Literally. Like, it's just not our team. Yeah, I'm like, as I have to keep being like, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. But anyway, I think that was my moment of like, you're not trying to extend a hand to like help him up. This was like I don't know, foul, not trying to draw, like, cause attention to yourself, whatever it was. But I was like, just leave. I'm so glad that was Flo's reaction, that it wasn't just to like pop up, because it's ridiculous. Like, leave him alone. The man can stand up, okay?
I also was laughing because that moment happened and then they went to replay it and they just kept replaying the supposed foul. And I was like, no. I want to see him picking Flo up because that was the funny moment. The other thing that I wanted to kind of touch on was we did end up seeing a sub, of course, in the very end, but Arne's intention to not make any subs throughout the game. I thought that was interesting, but also the first time in a while that I feel like we had the legs to play a full 90 minutes. All those guys did. That was good to see.
Yeah, that was very encouraging. I think we'll see what the lineup ends up being on Monday against Barnsley. I think it had to do with that, especially because I don't think we're going to see our first team start on that day. I hope we win that game. Hey, it would be great if Wrexham and Liverpool play each other in the next round. That would be really fun.
It would potentially be great, but
Nottingham
also
Forest. Poor Nottingham Forest. My goodness, getting beat by Wrexham, that was a rough one. But I think that Slot has stepped back and is really focusing on basics and the team chemistry. That is all we can do because he has admitted that he changed too much at once. That is a lot to take in. Like more than half of the guys on the pitch at one point were brand new players to this team. And so I think we are seeing the fruit of that hard work and that labor and that dedication from both Slot and the management team and all of the players. So seeing that improvement for the Arsenal match. And then, like you said, Annika, the way that their athleticism was there and it didn't feel like we were running out of steam was really great. I don't know if that was because Arsenal just wasn't running as quickly and Kirkes did a great job at keeping Saka quiet and I don't know. I don't think we played in the way that they were anticipating. So that could have a lot of factors in it, but
Arsenal has had a busy schedule recently, so it would be understandable if a lot of their players, they had made a lot of subs. I think they made 3 or 4 if some of their players were just more on the tired, and we happen to be in a stretch right now where we haven't had as many games back to back.
Yeah. But I also think it speaks to, like you're saying, like our athleticism to play the full 90 minutes. Arsenal made subs with like Eze coming on, like subs that should have been able to come on and make an impact and have a lot of speed and intensity. And they did, like nothing changed, right? Like the game ended in a 0-0 draw. I think that's huge for those subs to kind of be the same. And I know, Steph, you kind of like briefly mentioned Kirkes and Saka, but Kirkes played a phenomenal match to the point that Saka had to get subbed off because Kirkes
at
was
60
all over
minutes.
Him. Yes, like I've said it over and over again. I love Kirkes more and more every week. He's somebody that ebbs and flows in the views of, the Liverpool sphere. He is consistently learning and getting better. And I thought that was one of his best games. I love him. But the fact that their star boy had to get subbed off because of Kirkes is huge.
And then shortly after that, Gyökeres got subbed off. And then after he was subbed off, that's when we exploded and we took the control of the majority of possession for that half. I'm just so curious as to why Arsenal showed up like that yesterday. Like their fan base is so angry. And if I were an Arsenal fan, I would be so upset too. Like they showed up. Molly, you've said this in the past. There are some teams that show up not to lose and there are some teams that show up to win. Arsenal showed up to not lose yesterday. And they didn't lose. They drew, but that honestly is a loss to them. The fact that we've kept them down 4 points for the whole season for the Premier League is incredible. And yeah, I was just really impressed with how Liverpool showed up.
Also, going back to our team chemistry and kind of the rebuilding of that, I feel like we went through a moment of playing, let's say, badly together. Like our chemistry was not there. And now we're seeing that start to form. And I wouldn't count this game as dull or boring, but we had a couple matches there that were a little like, okay, we're playing football, but okay. But Arne was saying, he was like, I think we're so much more solid. And now we just need to push into that creativity, seeing us finish those, being more precise. And I really feel that that's coming. Like it feels inevitable to me. As each match, we seem to have better and better chemistry, better and better communication. We're on a journey, our roller coaster, right?
We're still in the running for Premier League and for Champions League and for the FA Cup. It was just like a little teaser. The Premier League writers, the European football writers, they had to keep it interesting this season. This was just part of the plot. We've teased it a little bit. We have to talk about Connor Bradley v. Martinelli. What are y'all's thoughts and opinions on all of this?
Well, one, I genuinely hope Connor's injury is not as bad as it appears to be. I think
the fact that we're 24 hours later and we still haven't heard anything is crazy.
Yeah. And I think, anytime somebody has to come out on a stretcher, not a good sign.
With
and
their
I think
face
especially
covered.
From somebody like Connor Bradley, who is such a fighter, but has also faced a lot of injuries. Like, it's just not good. That's not how anybody wants to go off. So first and foremost, I hope it's not as serious as it looks to be. Obviously, it was just like a misplacement, how he came down on his legs. Like, nobody caused it, but for me, it was just the response. Again, going back to whether you think Connor Bradley is time wasting or not, just keep your hands off of another player. He was he wasn't crawling back on the pitch. Half of his body was on the pitch. He's
rolling around in pain.
Yeah, and I think what Slot said post match was, Martinelli doesn't know Connor Bradley. If he knew Connor Bradley, he'd know he's not the person to try to time waste, to be dramatic. So, but it was just the throwing a soccer ball at him, trying to push him off the pitch. No, just no. Don't touch our boys. Just don't touch them.
Yeah, I agree. I think the fact that he didn't end up with a red card is a little baffling to me, but also I've heard some commentary from people saying there's so much energy and testosterone, and I think any footballer in that situation would behave the way Martinelli did. And I guess my pushback on that is, yes, pretty consistently, if a player thinks another player is time wasting, they'll get down there and try to get them back up on their feet. But usually, we see Virgil do it a lot. Virgil will go down, he'll grab their hand, pull them up, give them a pat on the back. There, you got this. And that was not the body language that Martinelli was bringing into it. So obviously he did apologize. And I agree with Arne that if he had known how badly Connor was hurt, I'm sure he wouldn't have done that. It's some of that is just the energy that you bring to it a little bit. But also, interestingly, I don't know if you guys saw this, someone pointed out, I think it was maybe Men in Blazers that posted this, that Mikel Arteta has also been known to push his players to get them back in. I was just
going to say, it is such a reflection on the coaching team. Literally the pictures that the Men in Blazers have posted of Mikel Arteta picking them up off the ground and putting them on the pitch.
And the tactic.
When we're talking about time wasting, Arsenal is one of the number one defenders for this. So I get it. It is such a, when I see players react like that on the pitch, it is a reflection of leadership, whether it be the captains of the team and any type of the managing staff. It is such a poor reflection on them. Our team, part of the reason why I love Liverpool so much is because they're respectful. They see humans first and they treat everyone so well. And I mean, there was a game where Virgil got the red card and he said some really terrible things and then was banned for 2 or 3 matches. He was like, oh, right, I'm a captain. I can't say those things. So sorry. And he's learned. But to see a whole team act like that, it's just so nasty. I think Arne, I've spent so much time on this podcast talking about how much I love and respect this guy. The words that he chooses to say are incredible, and he could have been really heated in the moment and said some clickbaity things and created a whole other issue and really light it up. The way that he chose to diffuse the situation was so classy, so professional, so kind, and just is a really great reflection of who he is as a manager and who he is as a human being, because it could have been so easy to get fired up and people say, I'm on your side, Arne. But I have his quote pulled up. He says, The problem for him, and it's a problem in general in football, is that there's so much time wasting in the final parts of games that sometimes you can be annoyed when you want to score a goal and you feel a player is pretending to be injured. I'm 100% sure that if he knew what the injury might be, he wouldn't do that. And Mikel said a very similar thing of like, he's a really nice guy. Like, that was not his intention. And I believe that about Martinelli, but that is a very clear reflection of how Mikel Arteta wants to show up.
Yeah. No, I love your call out to the reflection of leadership and Slot's ability to handle that. And what he has talked about post-match after post-match is the time wasting that's gone on during matches. And so for him to be able to like not point fingers at Martinelli at Arsenal, but to just use that to reinforce what he sees as an issue right now in the league with time wasting was just such a good way to like reframe that moment. I couldn't have done it. You know, I would have been clickbaited. Let's 100%.
Yep.
Let's be real.
No, I was constantly like, where is Curtis Jones? Why is he not running onto the field? Why did Konate not throw a punch? But this is why
the number of edits I have seen of people saying if Darwin Núñez was here, and then there's the video of him running down the steps of the Carabao Cup when he's injured, of like, he would have been on the pitch, he would have been throwing fists. I, again, don't agree with Gary Neville. And he's like, game's gone. Those Liverpool players, the other Liverpool players should have gone on, like, punched him, basically. And I'm just, or give him a whack is what he said. And I was like, no, it's Liverpool. We don't
you can't
do that.
They all showed up to come to Connor's defense inside, you know, but it doesn't need to get physical, but they were there, they were present. And if you're from me and just beloved by everybody, you're hugging your Dutch teammate, you know, and taking it as a little moment to connect. And I loved that.
The video that I sent you guys yesterday, I will link it in our show notes. The video that I sent, I literally spent so much time watching it because I would watch every single different Liverpool player to see where they went and how they did it. And one of the first ones I watched was Frimmy. And literally he's just like all of a sudden hugging someone. I was like, that's probably a Dutch player. Sure was. Of course it was. Like, I love him so much.
We brought the exact appropriate level of intensity to that moment, which was like, the aggression that any of our players were bringing to Martinelli was in order to get Martinelli away from Connor and to clear the situation. But it didn't last much longer than that. And even like, I think Konate seemed to be one of the more heated players in that moment. And even he like had words, and then he walked over and checked on Connor and to see if Connor was okay. And like, that's at the end of the day, what it's about, right? Is the fact that one of their players is injured and needs help. My real MVP, though, was the medic who was standing over Connor when Martinelli pushed him and proceeded to get his arm out in order to get Martinelli out of the way. Dom had already taken care of that, but that medic was prepared, and I really appreciate that.
The way he wound his fist back to go and punch this guy, oh my gosh, he really was the MVP. He needs to be the player of the week, okay?
I mean, we've made it through both Arsenal matches of the season, and I'm thankful they're in the rearview mirror. I did, not so much about the match, but some of the post-match moments that we saw. We've obviously talked about part of Slot's press conference, but if you didn't see Virgil's post-match, there are a couple really, I thought, special and a little pokey things. One, he did post a very zoomed in image of the Golden Premier League logo on his sleeve.
That was a shout out to Dom.
Yeah, so I was like, you know, I'm not saying we're always innocent. We've liked to poke a little bit, just maybe a little more sly than some other players and teams. But then he also shared a note that the mascot that walked out with him had given him pre-match, and I thought it was really, really sweet. And that's where he pulled his caption for his post. And it felt like such a great encapsulation of the team. And I love that it came from a mascot, but he said, "We are a team, we are friends, but most importantly, we are a family." And it was just beautiful. I loved that Verge posted that. That's become kind of like, you know, especially after the Connor moment at the end, the takeaway, the mantra from that game, is that we're friends, but most importantly, we're family. I thought that was really beautiful.
Yeah. I'm very pleased that the squad seems to be listening to my New Year's hope for them to have continued aligned Instagram captions. It's very important to me, and we definitely got that. There was a lot of, this is the Liverpool mentality, Liverpool family, that kind of imagery, as well as a lot of like, we wanted more, a little bit of some, aspirational, like, we've got some fight in us. And I really loved that. That felt like the right energy to me. That was like, we're proud of ourselves and we're going to level this up even further in the future.
Yeah. I think this match, with how well they showed up, can build a lot of confidence going through into the rest of the season. So it was a good step in the right direction. Not super great with the draw, and we could have won, but the fact that we all left very confident in the fact that we could have won is a major step in the right direction, and I hope that they're able to continue with that momentum.
Yeah.
Okay. In the momentum into, we have the FA Cup on Monday against Barnsley, and then at the end of the week we have another Premier League match against Burnley. I keep
Barnsley
getting
and Burnley.
the S. Barnsley and Burnley. We've got it. So I'm so sad because the game did not end up on my birthday. How dare they not schedule it on the correct day? But how are we feeling about the FA Cup and everything next week?
I'm interested to see who starts against Barnsley on Monday. Definitely hope we get to see some of the younger players. I think that's a great match to put them in, to get to rest, some of our starters. And I'm just really curious to find out how Connor's doing. I assume even if he's okay, we probably see a little bit more limited time from him this week. And I've loved seeing Fremy play in front of Connor, and just like the speed he brings down the side. And I would assume that if Connor's out, Fremy drops back a little bit more. So I'm just interested to see, how that changes our shape on the pitch. Not having Connor, different positioning for Fremy. Once Mo's back, it kind of, then we fill that space up in the front, in the right. And so it kind of takes away that issue. But I think I have a lot of question marks going into this week. Just like, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm thinking that we probably won't see Ekitike until Saturday at the earliest. Looking forward to him being back. Also counting down the days till AFCON.
I also am curious Flo has really blossomed over the last 3 or 4 weeks, especially. I'm really curious if not having Mo there, having that space to just kind of make up for and fill up, if that is part of the reason why Flo has blossomed a little bit more. And I'm not saying we don't need Mo because we have Flo, like not at all. I'm just curious to see how our tactics are going to change with having Mo back, and now Flo's getting more adept to the Premier League and getting stronger and stronger every week. So I'm curious how that's going to end up changing. But I'm really excited for the next week. Especially, again, like you said, Melian, the Arsenal match is in our rearview mirror. And so I don't feel as like tense and really sick over a game coming up. So grateful for that. But yeah, I don't think, have we seen Barnsley play over the last couple seasons?
Not that I remember.
I don't remember them. So I'm excited to see that. And poor Burnley, they're having a rough time. And that sitting in that relegation zone. So we'll see how that match goes. It should be, I'm not going to say it's going to be a straightforward week because Burnley is still in the Premier League. It never can be straightforward because you never know. And we always show up to the level of the team that we are playing. So we'll see what happens. But I'm more optimistic than I have been. It feels like we are out of the scary zone that we were in with however many games we were losing all in a row, and now we're like leveling out, and now I feel like we're going to end up getting to be a little bit more creative and creating more chances and getting back to being the really entertaining Liverpool team that we all know. Okay,
right.
Player of the week.
Let's do it. Do you want to start, Steph?
Sure. My player of the week is Milos Kerkez. That was his best game, hands down, so far. We heard such great things about him at Bournemouth, and we've seen great glimpses of him at Liverpool. The way that he was able to quiet Saka was absolutely incredible. I was watching some highlights from him. Did he get player of the match?
He did.
No, Dom did.
No, it was Kirkes.
I saw Dom did an interview.
Dom got it from the Premier League. Kirkes got
that's what I'm thinking
got
of.
Liverpool's player of the
From the
match.
fans?
Got you.
No,
Okay.
like Premier League does one.
Mm-hmm.
Here,
Yeah.
let me make sure.
iPad baby.
There's Milos.
From what website is that?
Instagram.
Okay, sorry.
The app.
I guess
I
I
don't
just
know
meant,
if you've
like-
heard of the application
I meant,
called
is it, like-
Instagram.
What is
it
your
like
works cited,
Liverpool?
actually?
Is it Liverpool? Is
the
it Standard
official
Chart?
Liverpool FC
Okay, cool.
account.
Cool.
Is it the beer one, the Carlsberg?
Yes. Yeah.
It's the
Yeah, I think Dom got
Carlsberg
the
man of the
Premier
match.
League man of the
Okay,
match,
that makes
but,
sense.
yeah.
Totally.
Cool. Anyway, Milos, he got player of the match. How exciting. He was, as I was looking through the highlights, it was giving Connor Bradley v Mbappe. That is how
Yes.
Kirkes showed up against Saka. There were a couple of tackles that he made that have not been talked about enough. Wow. No one has been talking about Kirkes. He was incredibly fast. He was able to use, we've talked about this before, once he was able to figure out how to use his emotions efficiently and in a very positive manner, then he was going to be unstoppable, and he is doing that. Oh my gosh, he was incredible. Melian, what about you?
I actually have somebody we haven't talked about at all this whole podcast, and that would be Ryan Gravenberch.
We talked about Ryan?
No, we did talk about Ryan. I just felt like
Wow.
we were seeing Ryan back in like full form. Ryan, we saw the Gravenberch turns. Like there was a moment he was like fighting down the touch line to keep the ball in bounds, and just like the footwork, the turns, the speed, the accuracy. I just felt like it was like the best game for me from him so far this season. And I just felt like his like presence and energy was back in the midfield. And obviously we've missed that so much. So yes, just loved his performance, love his turns. I want to see him again next week.
The iconic Ryan Gravenberch turn. I just am feeling so hopeful again. Like I'm so hopeful because we're starting to see these things that we know is possible from these players.
Yeah. And I think it's gonna they're gonna grow, and then they're gonna regress. Like I think that's just gonna be the rest of this season, is like progress and a little regression and more progress and little regression. And so I'm glad
we're a rebuilding year.
Yeah, we're in that moment of progress. And so I just wanted to recognize Ryan for the way he showed up, because I felt like it felt like it was clicking again.
Yeah. Annika, who was your player of the week?
I'm going to pick Frimpong. And two main things stood out to me. The commentators called him a fish because his legs were moving so fast. I'm not really sure what the connection is there, but I did really love that. And I just want to encourage Fremy. You should do a little coffee date with Curtis Jones. Hold on to that ball. Believe in yourself. Back yourself. We believe in you, Fremy. You've got this.
Yeah. He
Fremy's incredible.
Played so great. I'm just still amazed every time I see his speed on the pitch. It's incredible. And Annika, I like your believe in yourself Curtis Jones advice, because I think that's all Fremy needed at that moment when he was like had a great opportunity to score. And it's okay, he's gonna get there, but you're right, he needs a moment with Curtis Jones just to be like, believe in yourself, you can do it, take the shot.
You know what would be really good for them to do is to sit and someone just needs to read out Mr. Fantasy's like encouragement.
Oh, don't you worry.
Let's just sit there and like read it out to the players. So Molly, can you please read? Yes, can you please read Mr. Fantasy's encouragement to us all?
I would love to. I was not expecting this moment on the podcast, but don't you worry, I'm ready to go. So for anybody that doesn't know, Mr. Fantasy, Google him, was on the Squeeze podcast, and he shared this, and I thought it was very powerful. And you're right, Steph, it would be great for our players. But he said,
instead of the believe sign, it could be
it's this
Mr. Fantasy quote.
Whole paragraph.
100.
All right. If you you are aware that you are the most magnificent creation, that you are the most remarkable, spectacular creation, you have no reason to fear anything. And that is the way that my higher power wants me to live. And my higher power wants me to know that I am the most remarkable, spectacular, unique, specific, appropriate, or inappropriate of all of these things. And if I know that, and if you know that, there is absolutely nothing to fear. Like, the wisest of words. Yeah, for me just needs to, he will. He's confident in himself. It was just that he just needed this much more.
You know who else needs to hear that, I think? Cody Gakpo.
Yeah, I think Cody needs that more than for me. I think that's very true.
Yeah.
I think they all need it in their own way.
Yeah. But everyone's remarkable. Everyone's incredible. And if you know that and believe that about yourself, you have nothing to fear.
Yeah. So again, if anyone from Liverpool is listening, please give this to Arne or someone to read to the team.
Invite Mr. Fantasy to Anfield.
Yeah, or invite us to Anfield and then we can Mr. recite Fantasy. It. With yes. Fly all four of us out there so we can be the pre-match situation. That way we can get Roy Kent so angry that he can break a bench, you know?
There we go. Okay, well, I think we've lost the plot. So
we've crossed.
No, this is the plot. Okay? These are all of the most amazing things all together. It all has to do with one another, okay? So anyway,
I'm so sorry. Else? I do have one more thing. It has nothing to do with what we've talked about. But again, if you listen to this podcast on a regular or semi-regular basis, you'll know that there's one thing we talk about a lot, and that is hair and headbands. And
I was going to say Darwin Nunez, and you said hair and yes,
if it's me
Darwin
talking,
Nunez.
I'm also going to talk about Darwin Nunez. And so I just need to bring attention to everybody that doesn't follow Darwin as detailed as I do, that he has joined the headband brigade, and his hair is now, we all know he buzz cut it. It's grown out enough that he started to wear a headband.
It's wavy and adorable. He looks like he's from the 90s, and I'm obsessed.
Yeah. I'm always in my feels about missing Darwin, but the last couple of days it's hit even harder. And then I saw him in a headband with his hair growing out, and my heart shattered into a million pieces. So anyway, but I just needed to bring that to our attention. It's because that's the things people need to know. Who is or is not wearing a headband? Darwin Nunez is.
Yes, that is, and the world needs to know. It's the most important commentary. But anything else?
That will do it for me now. That's all.
We end on a Darwin Nunez headband moment. So that is all for that is all for this week's episode. We will be back here again next week, but until then, you will never walk alone.